Today is July 12, 2025. As we move through our daily routines, most of us rarely pause to consider the invisible threats that shape our health and our future. Cancer is often blamed on genetics, lifestyle, or environmental toxins, smoking, sun exposure, processed foods. We're taught to avoid cigarettes, wear sunscreen, and eat healthier, believing these choices are the main shields against disease. But there's another cause, hidden in plain sight: parasitic worms or helminths. These ancient organisms have coexisted with humans for millennia, quietly infiltrating our bodies and communities. These organisms infect millions, especially in the developing world, and can quietly set the stage for cancer. In places where healthcare is scarce and sanitation is poor, their impact is devastating, yet often overlooked. This isn't a rare phenomenon. Tens of millions are infected with parasites classified as Group 1 carcinogens, the same category as asbestos and tobacco. The risk is as real and as urgent as any other well-known carcinogen, yet this crisis is largely ignored, thriving in poverty and poor sanitation. In overcrowded neighborhoods and rural villages, these parasites find fertile ground, spreading silently from person to person. These parasites don't kill quickly, they linger for years, triggering chronic disease. Their victims may suffer from fatigue, pain, and recurring illness, often without knowing the true cause. Their presence causes a slow, relentless assault on the body, gradually transforming healthy cells into malignant ones. The process is insidious, with symptoms that can be mistaken for other illnesses until it's too late. The journey from infection to cancer is long and silent, often discovered too late for effective treatment. By the time the connection is made, options are limited and outcomes are grim. Understanding this hidden link is the first step to fighting it. Only by recognizing the true scope of the problem can we begin to address it. We need public health education, better sanitation, medical intervention, and research. It will take a coordinated effort, governments, scientists, and communities working together to break the cycle of infection and disease. Shedding light on these diseases can help protect vulnerable communities. Simple measures like clean water hygiene education and regular screenings can save countless lives. By exploring how these parasites function and who is most at risk, we can start to dismantle the systems that allow them to flourish. Research and local engagement are key to understanding and stopping their spread. Millions of lives depend on bringing this unseen enemy into the spotlight. With awareness and action, we can offer hope and healing to those who need it most. The time to act is now. Together, we can confront this global health crisis and ensure a healthier future for all. There are 3 notorious parasites that have earned the grim distinction of being officially recognized as definitive human carcinogens. These organisms are not just rare curiosities, they are a persistent threat in many parts of the world, silently causing harm to millions of people every year. The first is Opisthorchis viverrini, commonly known as the Southeast Asian liver fluke. This parasite finds its way into the human body through the consumption of raw or undercooked freshwater fish, a staple in many local diets. Once inside, it invades the bile ducts, causing chronic irritation and continuous tissue damage that can persist for decades. The second member of this unholy trinity is Clonorchis sinensis, the Chinese liver fluke. It poses a similar threat in East Asia, where eating raw freshwater fish is also common. Like its Southeast Asian cousin, it targets the liver and bile ducts, setting the stage for long-term health consequences. Both of these liver flukes are major drivers of liver and bile duct cancer in their respective regions, contributing to a significant burden of disease that often goes unrecognized until it is too late. The third carcinogenic parasite is Schistosoma hematobium, also known as the blood fluke. Unlike the liver flukes, this parasite infects people through direct skin contact with contaminated fresh water, a common risk in many parts of Africa and the Middle East. The eggs of Schistosoma hematobium become lodged in the bladder and pelvic organs, where they trigger severe inflammation and scarring. Over time, this chronic irritation can lead to the development of bladder cancer, a devastating outcome for many affected individuals. Collectively, these 3 parasites infect more than 100 million people worldwide, elevating the risk of cancer across entire populations and placing a heavy burden on healthcare systems in developing regions. Their infections are often chronic and subtle, progressing quietly over years or even decades, yet the consequences can be devastating for individuals and families alike. Recognizing these parasites and understanding their complex life cycles is absolutely critical. Only by breaking the chain of transmission can we hope to reduce the cancer burden they cause and protect vulnerable communities around the world. These infections are tied to specific environments and traditions. Liver flukes thrive in Southeast and East Asia, especially along the Mekong River where raw freshwater fish is a dietary staple. Dishes like koi pla in Thailand are a primary source of infection, often affecting people from childhood. Despite public health efforts, infection rates remain high due to deep-rooted cultural practices. Schistosoma hematobium is endemic in sub-Saharan Africa and parts of the Middle East, relying on freshwater snails in lakes and rivers. Its larvae penetrate the skin during everyday activities, swimming, washing, farming. Lack of clean water and sanitation makes infection a disease of poverty. Children, women, and farmers are especially vulnerable. The parasite's journey from water to human hosts sets the stage for chronic disease and cancer. In northeast Thailand, cholangiocarcinoma, bile duct cancer, is shockingly common. The culprit, Opisthochus viverrini, responsible for 92% of cases in the region. Infection comes from eating raw or undercooked freshwater fish. The larvae travel to the bile ducts, maturing into adult worms that can live for over a decade. Hundreds of worms can infest a single person, causing relentless inflammation. This chronic irritation drives DNA mutations, transforming healthy cells into cancer. Infection often starts in childhood, but cancer appears decades later, usually in late adulthood. By diagnosis, the disease is often advanced and difficult to treat. The link between tradition, parasite, and cancer is tragically clear. Prevention hinges on changing dietary habits and breaking the cycle of infection. Without intervention, this silent killer will persist. In Africa and the Middle East, Schistosoma hematobium is a leading cause of bladder cancer. The parasite's eggs become trapped in the bladder wall, triggering chronic inflammation. This ongoing immune response leads to scarring, genetic mutations, and eventually squamous cell carcinoma. In endemic areas, bladder cancer often strikes at a younger age than in the West. Symptoms like blood in the urine are common but often ignored. The infection is treatable with praziquantel, an inexpensive drug. Yet without widespread screening and clean water, reinfection is common. Millions remain at risk for this preventable parasite-driven cancer. Breaking the cycle requires awareness, access to treatment, and improved sanitation. The tragedy is that this cancer is both preventable and treatable. Schistosoma hematobium may also increase the risk of cervical cancer. Its eggs can lodge in the cervix and genital tract, causing chronic inflammation, female genital schistosomiasis, FGS. Recent studies in Tanzania show parasite eggs activate cancer-linked genes in the cervix. This inflammation may make women more susceptible to HPV, the main cause of cervical cancer. Even after treatment, genetic changes may persist, raising long-term cancer risk. If confirmed, millions of women face a dual threat: schistosomiasis and HPV. Combating cervical cancer in these regions will require integrated parasite control and HPV prevention. Addressing FGS is now a critical women's health priority. How do parasites trigger cancer? It's a question that has puzzled scientists for decades, and the answer is both fascinating and alarming. The answer lies in a combination of chronic inflammation and immune manipulation, two powerful forces that parasites have mastered over millions of years of evolution. Parasites like liver and blood flukes provoke a constant, relentless immune response. This ongoing battle leads to repeated tissue damage, scarring, and over time, dangerous DNA mutations that can set the stage for cancer. Some parasites go even further, secreting special proteins, such as granulin, that act like growth signals, pushing host cells to multiply uncontrollably. This abnormal cell growth is a key driver of cancer development. At the same time, these invaders suppress the immune system, weakening the body's natural ability to detect and destroy cells that have gone rogue or become cancerous. This immunosuppression gives cancer cells the perfect cover to grow and spread without being stopped by the body's defenses. Parasites can even cause direct genetic and epigenetic damage, silencing tumor suppressor genes and activating oncogenes, essentially flipping the genetic switches that control cell growth and division. The result is a perfect storm for cancer development, a convergence of chronic infection, immune evasion, and genetic sabotage. Chronic infection, secreted growth factors, immune evasion, and genetic damage all combine. making these parasites some of the most potent natural carcinogens known to science. Understanding these complex mechanisms is key to developing new treatments and preventive strategies that could save countless lives. In the end, the body's own defenses are turned against itself by a simple worm, revealing just how cunning and dangerous these tiny invaders can be. Paradoxically, the same parasites that cause cancer may also inspire new treatments. Some helminth molecules have powerful immunomodulatory effects, potentially useful in cancer therapy. Scientists are isolating these molecules, not infecting patients but using parasite biology to develop drugs. Early research shows some parasite-derived compounds can boost chemotherapy or trigger anti-tumor immune responses. The goal: create therapies that harness the beneficial side of immune modulation without the risks of infection. This research is experimental and years from clinical use. Still, it highlights the complexity of the host-parasite relationship. Even our ancient enemies may hold secrets for fighting disease. Preventing parasite-driven cancer requires global action. For liver flukes, public health campaigns must discourage eating raw freshwater fish and promote safer cooking. For blood flukes, access to clean water and sanitation is essential. Mass drug administration with praziquantel can reduce infection rates, especially in children. Raising awareness is critical. These diseases often go unrecognized. Health workers must be trained to spot symptoms and understand cancer risks. International cooperation and investment are needed for better diagnostics and research. Integrating parasite control into cancer prevention programs is vital. The knowledge and tools exist to save lives. Now we must find the resolve to use them.